Hi all, it's Tom the taxi driver, and in this video I'm going to be talking about whether you should join a knowledge school. So, should you join a knowledge school? Yes, if you can. However, you don't necessarily need to join one. So what do I mean by this? I didn't join a knowledge school because my commute to London is probably about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Probably about an hour once you get down, the A12. So it was quite late, and I was working like 9 to 6 within a shop in a retail environment. I did have one day off in the week that I could potentially go to a knowledge school. But yeah, most knowledge schools were kind of open in those sort of daytimey hours. Some had a little bit later hours. But by the time I got out of work at 6, on the bike into London for say 7, I might only get to the school and have about 1 hour of calling over. Could do it on my days off. It didn't really work for me in terms of the school fees, getting to the school, that kind of thing. But if I was in the vicinity of a school, if there was days that I could go there or spend a good couple of hours down there, oh, most certainly. Because it's that level of accountability. There's so many things what a school can offer. It's the speed that you have to be able to interpret roads. So whenever I've been in an environment, I have been down to some knowledge schools before. I haven't necessarily studied in them, but you hear all across the room, you can hear different road names, points, all just being shouted out all over. And I think that really helps build up your fluency. You're hearing them from lots of different people, different accents, different people from different stages of calling, different methodologies, people who have pointed points that you haven't pointed. So there's so much stimulus coming in. And when you're hearing it quite quick like that, you have to process it in. It's probably one of the things that it didn't necessarily hold me back, but I think it could have made me a bit stronger, was that when you study the knowledge by yourself, you can kind of go at your own pace. You can look at the sheet and go, right, that's that road there. But one of the things that a school can do is that you almost have conversations about roads. And I still do this in the cab now. I'm on the phone to my friend and they'll say, Brompton Road, and went up there, Furlough Square. And it's how quickly someone says a road that your brain can instantly go, yep, bang, Furlough Square, yep, Threadneedle Street, yep. And getting that your brain sort of firing all cylinders that quick, really. So the drawback I found is that when I was in a chair and I got given a point, sometimes I'd have to really think, and especially streets and squares, have to really extract that. But I think one of the advantages of going to a school is that you generally build up a much better retention, a much more quick fire way, because of your exposure and being able to hear all those roads going on. So yeah, regular roads, you get multiple opinions. So if you're there stuck for an answer, me and my call-over partner used to do this because I only really had one call-over partner on the knowledge. You'd sort of disagree on something and go, can you do that? And then he'd be going, not too sure if you can you? At school, what people then go, has anyone been to that restriction? And then someone goes, oh, yeah, you can do that. And you can get a lot of opinions there. Accountability as well. It's a school. It's like going to the gym. You're going to build up sort of friends and people down at the school. So you'll want to go there because it is like a community. That's one of the other great things. You get to see other people progress. I used to follow Knowledge Point School and some of the other schools on social media because it was always so good and so inspiring to see people that got their rec. They'd celebrate and bring in pizzas and stuff into the school. So if you're part of that community, if you're part of that vibe, you will see other people doing the goal, the aim that you are going for. So it's definitely worth it from that aspect, because that just keeps driving you to go further and further forward. Like any kind of community, that's really quite beneficial, because it is a lonely process. Largely, you're out on the bike on your own. You might be at the map. You're at the map on your own quite a lot, but then you might have the odd call-over partner. So if you've got a school, a community of people that are going through it, maybe a few, mentors, people higher up who've already done it, that's also a good thing as well. What can you do instead, though? If you can't get to a school, what would my advice be? Try get to a school for a course. I went to Compass course at Knowledge Point. Because it was an 8-week course, I said to my boss was really helpful at the time in helping me do this. I said, look, there's a course I really want to go to. It's between the hours of 6 and 8. Can I leave a little bit early so I can get there and go do that? And yeah, and that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, because it really condensed my knowledge down, gave me some great tips. You're learning from so many different opinions. If you've watched my video about when I got my rec, I actually got one of the points that was on my rec appearance from going to that one Compass course. Just pure luck, arguably, but had I not gone to that Compass course, I might not have pulled that point, might not have got my rec that day. So you never know when these opportunities come from. Get yourself call-over partners, as many as you can. Really hard for me to do it because of where I was, but even if they're not there, even if there's someone that you maybe pick up the phone to them and it's not necessarily, you're not there calling over actively, if you phone up and say, like, where have you been? Went and pointed this, went and done that. Just the conversation about roads is, I would say, is really important for the reasons I've outlined. And the tip that I did for myself was to really just get immersed in the knowledge. There is so many ways you can get immersed in London. Obviously, the main ones are get out on your bike, go check out points and call over. But outside of that, and this might have already happened to you if you are on the knowledge, is that when you watch TV or when you watch a film, you might not be doing much of that at all, by the way, because studying takes over your life. I know that I pretty much cut out a lot of TV when I was on the knowledge. Is that you will annoy the person you're watching that film or TV show with, because you'll go, that's Baker Street. That's the bottom part of South Audley Street, or whatever it may be. So get immersed in it in that way. Read books about it, learn about the history. Where was, who built St James's Palace, and that all helps it all click into place. So there's lots of ways of getting immersed in it rather than just looking at it from the map perspective. Learn about it from the historical perspective, from events that have happened within London as well. So that's my opinions on whether you should go to a school or not. I definitely think you can, if you can. If you can't, try and make other ways to make your call over as fresh as possible. Please do check out some of my other videos here. If you found this to be very sort of useful and of value, please do like, comment, and best of all, if you can subscribe, that would be amazing. I'll see you all again soon. Take care.